ask you about your dad, because most baseball players kind of learn the game from their dads, but you actually got to play alongside your dad. That seems to me that's pretty rare. What was it like to play with your dad?
Well, when I was 5 years old, my dad caught me smoking, and we had what they call a Joe Louis punch. I don't know if you know what that is. That's white lightning in the South.
Huh, okay, yeah.
And I was trying to act like a big man. And he says, come here. You know what you're doing? I said, yes, sir, I know what I'm doing. So he said, he went and got me a big old bottle like that. And he brought it back, and he says, go ahead, drink. Then he went and got the White Owl cigars. I don't know if you remember the White Owl cigars.
My great-grandfather used to
Yeah,
smoke.
so he went and got that. He brought it back for 2 weeks. I'm like this, throwing up everything. He says, now you're a big man. So now we got to the ball field, because we stayed in the third house at around the baseball field.
Okay.
So he says, let's go to the baseball field. We start off at catching. Every position I had to learn how to play. This is baseball now. Not even a man. I'm about 6 or 7 years old. And he says you have to learn, because the shin guards was over my leg, the mask was over my face, way down. Then you got the chest protector. It was way down between my leg. I couldn't, get the ball going.
So you were wearing grown-up equipment. You were 6 years old.
My dad bought me everything.
Yeah.
Everything first class. And when I didn't like catching, he says, we're going to do one thing. I said, what is that? He says, we're going to learn how to shift. You know how to catch it, slide. I knew how to do that when I was like 7 years old.
Wow.
So he's now, let's go pitching. So we went to pitching. I had a very good curve when I was young. He says, we're going to learn how to pitch. Those two positions, I didn't like.
You didn't want to be a catcher?
I didn't want to be a catcher. I didn't want to be a pitcher. Seemed like everything was too close. So he said, let's go all around the ballpark, and we're going to try and figure out how you want to play. So when I got to center field, he says, that might be your position, Will. He called me Junior. Junior, that might be your position. So he let me play when I was about maybe 11 or 12 with him. And we was playing one day, and it seemed like every ball was in left center. And he says, I heard him say, it's yours. It's yours. And I said, I call time. I said, Dad, you got to quit, man, because I'm catching too many balls. You ain't doing nothing out here. I said, why don't you go in and manage me? And he did that.
So you retired your father?
I retired him. But he was a really, really good guy for me. Yeah.
So he taught you the game. That's pretty
Oh,
amazing.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
And, we always hear about, because then when you were, you would have been in high school and you played on a Negro League team, right?
Oh, this was before that.
Yeah, that's way before that.
That was before that. When
as you got a few years older.
When I was 12,
yeah.
I played with the company team that my father was on. I was a bat boy, but they let me play the last 2 innings of the game, every game. All the guys knew about it, so they said, no, let him play, let him play. I couldn't hit the ball past second base. The bag, I hit everything to right center. So I learned how to do that very young,
Playing against grown men.
Oh my God, yeah. But they taught me a lot of stuff, a lot of games,
So you kept doing that, and then you did join a team, right? Even before the Giants signed you, did you play for a Negro League team before the Giants signed you?
Yeah, I played for 2. I played with Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay.
And the reason I went home there because we play. You know what PC is?
Uh-huh.
If you don't play, you don't get paid. So when I went to Chattanooga, we didn't. It rained for about 3 or 4 days. I was getting hungry. I didn't want to stay there, so I called my dad. I said, I got to come home, man. So what he did, and I didn't know this, he called the manager with the Birmingham Black Barons and Piper Davis. I don't know if you remember Piper Davis, or well, you don't know him, but you heard of him. Good player. But anyway, he called Piper and says, I'd like to bring my kid over so you can see him play. So Piper called me like nothing. They ain't said nothing about my dad. He said, come on in and let me see what you can do. He said, by the way, we're going to play what they call a special game for you, because I was playing shortstop that day. And when I played short, there was a guy named Ed Steele. He hits a ball with the overspin, you know. If you don't get in front of him, he's going to kill you, you know. So it was overspin. So when I went to try and catch it, it ran up my sleeve. He called time. I saw Piper coming out of the stand. He called time, and he says, that's not your position. So he said, switch. He told the center fielder to come in, and I go to center field. So the next two balls was hit, whoa, pretty good out there. I catch it with no problem. And then he went like that, and he left.
Wow.
That means that's your position. You're going to play that.
And you're going to be on my team.
You're going to be on my team. He said, meet me Sunday afternoon at Rickwood Field. Rickwood Field was one of the ballparks they had in Birmingham. So I go to Rickwood Field, and they was playing a doubleheader. And this left fielder that was playing, he and I played. And the first game, he hits a home run. And the second game, Piper let me play, I hit a home run. But when I came up the third time, the guy drilled me in my arm because I didn't know about that later. That was kind of early. I didn't know about nobody would hit you when you hit a home run. I didn't know all about that junk. So I started crying. And he came out, Piper did, and he kicked me. Get up, he says. Get up. I said, what do you mean? It hurts, Piper. I know, but get up. So he picked me up, and we were walking down this first base. He says, there's no crying in this game. That's what you're talking about. I said, but it hurt. That's okay. He said, but there's no crying. He said, what you do, when you get the first, you steal second. You steal third. And we'll get you in some kind of way. Now, we won the game 2-1. And the first guy I seen come by my locker was Piper. He said, that's the way you play baseball. You know, one of those things. I think I was about 14 then. Yeah.
So that was one of your first big lessons about how to play.
That was one of them. I guess keep going, man. Yeah.
Did you face Satchel Paige?
Oh my God, yes. I faced Satchel. We won that same year in 40. I think it was 49 or 48 or 49.
Yeah.
Satchel would pitch for anybody that pay him. So when Kansas City was playing in what they call the Little World Series or thing, and when Satchel was pitching against us, I hit a double off the wall, and the guy behind me, Jimmy Zapp, hit a home run. We beat Satch 3-1. So now, in about the third or fourth, we didn't beat it right there, but later on in the game, we did pretty good by it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he told the third baseman, I heard him say to his third baseman, let me know when that little boy come back up. So I thought he was talking about somebody else. So now the third inning, when I came back up, I heard the third baseman says, there he is. And I said, who are they talking about? And the catcher says, they're talking about you. Satch walked halfway to home plate, and he says, little boy. I said, yes, sir, because Satch was much older than I was. I didn't know who it was. And he says, little boy, I'm not going to trick you. I'm going to throw you 3 fastballs, and you're going to go sit down. It's no way anybody can throw me 3 same pitch, and I don't hit it. But he threw me 3 of the damnedest fastballs. I didn't even come close to hit him. And I heard him say, little boy, now you can go sit down. One of those type of things.
Wow, what a great story.
Oh, man, he was good.
He had to compare to any, because we always talk about you and Koufax and Drysdale and all the great pitchers, but he had to compare to all those guys.
See, Satch was so old, we didn't know how old he was. So Major League Baseball said to Satch, we're going to give you a pension, but we have to start somewhere. It was, how old are you, Satch? Well, whatever number you want to put down, put it down, because he didn't want to say nothing. So when I think Bobby was playing right field, Bobby Bonds was playing right field with us. So now I put Bobby behind me, and I said, Bobby, Satch gonna get his pension. We got to make sure he gets a pension. So I walk, I steal second. Bobby hits a long foul ball home run. I call time. I go to Bobby. I said, Bobby, do you know who that's out there? He said, no. I said, that's Satchel Paige. That's the guy that made it possible for us to, play baseball the way we do. Yeah, I said, we got to make sure he gets a pension. No bunting. All you do is try to hit him. Now, Satch hurt me, but Bobby still, he still bunted. But halfway down, he pretended he fell on the ground. Now, Satch gets the ball, and he throw it to first base. He gets Bobby out for the third out. And he hollered to me, thank you, thank you. One of those type of things.
So he knew what was going on.
Oh, yeah, we knew.
So then, when you face him first when you're a kid, and then the Giants sign you, you're still really young, and you shoot up through the minor leagues, you're putting up all these numbers. I know you hit, what'd you hit in AAA that year, Minneapolis? You hit
AAA,
or something like that?
No, 477.
You hit 477.
Yeah.
So they call you up. You're 20 years old, I think.
19, just turned 20, yeah.
Just turned 20.
Correct, yeah.
Were you ready for the big leagues?
I don't think so. The reason I said that is that when Leo called for me to come up, I was in the movie with, I don't know if you Ray Danrich. I don't know if you heard of Ray Danrich.
Yeah.
Well, he was, one like my mentor. We had two guys that was taking care of me at Minneapolis. But anyway, we was in the movie, and over the screen came a name, Willie Mays, report to the lobby. Nobody knows me in Sioux City. I'd never been there before. So I go to the lobby, and Leo's on the phone. He says, we'll talk to you when you get to, the hotel. So I go to the hotel, and I was saying to myself, how did Leo find me in the movie? So they said, well, he knows where you go all the time. So we get to the hotel, and Leo says, you're going to be here, and you're playing in Philadelphia tomorrow night. I said, Leo, I don't think I'm ready. You'll be here tomorrow, and you're playing. That's the way Leo, talk. He's very aggressive, So he let me come up. I knew three guys on the club. I knew Monty Irvin, Hank Thompson, Ray Nobley, and the pitcher, Ruben Gomez, at that time. They all knew what I was. So Leo talked to me for about, maybe, 10 minutes. Let's go hit some balls. Just they having band practice. So I go out, and I had 15 swings. I hit 9 out of shot park. I hit the ball so long, my arms were getting tired, and I stopped. And I looked around, all the Philly guys was just looking at me, and I said, something is wrong here, because they want to know what I'm doing because I'm playing that night. So that was my first introduction to professional baseball in the majors.
They were scouting you in batting practice.
Yes, to see what I could do.
1951, Giants play great down the stretch. You get to that playoff. I don't think a lot of people know Bobby Thompson hits the home run, and you're standing in the on-deck circle, right?
That year was very strange for me. If I remember correctly, we played in Philly. We won all 3 games in Philly. We come to New York, and I was just nervous. I didn't get no hit. I think I went to bat maybe 12 times. I didn't get no hit. I said, this can't be. So I was crying in my locker. Herman Franks was Leo's third baseman at that time. He came down and said, what's the matter? He thought somebody, bothered me. I said, no, I don't think I can play up here. I think I need to go back to Minneapolis because it's just too, it's too quick up here. So now, as I'm walking up, and Monty says, Spunny is pitching tonight, and he likes you. I said, I don't even know who Spunny is. I said, I hope he does. So he was a left-hander.
Yeah.
So I go upstairs, and Leo says, you're going to be my center fielder. Don't you ever worry about anything. You just catch the ball, we'll hit for you. Now, the game started, and Spahn was out there. He had that high kick, kick leg.
Yeah.
So when I go to bat, and I looked out there and I said, "That's fun." I seen them on TV a couple of times because they was a team out of Boston. Boston.
Yeah.
They wasn't the Braves at that time. You
Right.
know, Boston. They wasn't the Red Sox. It was
Braves,
Boston Braves.
yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boston Braves. But anyway, he threw me a changeup, and I looked at it, and he hollered out, "Can you swing?" And I said, "I ain't never heard of that before." And the guy says, "I told you he likes you. He's trying to make sure you stay here." He threw me the same pitch. I hit it. I don't know if you ever been to the Polo Ground?
Well, I've seen pictures.
You see pictures of it, but there's a roof on the Polo Ground because it got that old L shape of thing.
Yeah.
I hit it over there, and it's, as I'm walking to first base, Spawner says, "Now you're gonna stay here." That was the first hit that I got when I, got to the majors.
Your first hit was on
That
run against Warren
Spahn, yeah.
And then 1951, you guys turned into a really good team, right?
Well, 1951, we was 13 and a half games out, and we won 39 out of 41. I hope somebody look it up because I might not be saying it the right way.
We'll look it up.
Yeah, I thought it was 39 out of 41, but anyway, we tied. The two teams tied at the end of the season, and we had what they call a 3-game playoff.
Right.
We won the first, they won the second, and the third one they had us beat 4-2 going into the 9th inning. Newcomb was pitching, and I was kind of glad they'd taken Newcomb out because Newcomb was killing us out there, So we was playing, and I saw him bring in Brankin. I said, "I can't hit that guy," but the third baseman, Bobby Thompson, they're taking him out Sunday and put him on third.
That's right.
But when Ralph came in, because Bobby just had hit a home run off him the day before.
Right.
So when he hit the home run in a Polo Ground, I didn't even realize the game was over. So when Eddie Stinky came, if you ever see this, the film in 1951, Eddie Stinky came cross home plate, and he grabbed Leo on third base, rolled him to the ground, and and they were sitting there, and I'm still on deck. I'm still looking.
Getting ready to hit.
Ready to hit. And the game is over. And I said to myself, "Stupid, you got to get up there so everybody can see you." And that's how I got in the World Series that year, 1951.
You grew up, you knew Joe DiMaggio, right? As a kid, did you know about Joe DiMaggio?
I had some kind of strange year. I had 3 guys. Every Sunday, we get the paper, the paper that with big old paper.
Yeah.
And it had 3 guys there. It had Stan Musial, Joe DiMaggio, and Ted Williams, Ted. All 3 of them. And when Jackie came in, they had to put Jackie there because now I got a chance to get to the majors some kind of way when Jackie came in.
So you played against DiMaggio in 51 in the World Series, right?
I think Joe was hurt in 51.
Yeah, he was.
He had a bad leg, but he hit a grand slam in the Polo Ground. It was 2 grand slams that way. Gil McDougall hits a grand slam, and Joe hits a grand slam. But I don't know why they didn't catch this thing in center field, because when Joe hit the grand slam, I'm out there clapping. You don't do that. When somebody hit a grand slam off your team, you don't clap. You don't clap for nobody.
You couldn't help yourself.
I don't know what happened. I just was clapping. So glad that he hit a grand slam because he didn't play. I knew his leg was hurt, and I said, "Oh man, that's great." Nobody got the picture. If they did, nobody said nothing. And I was kind of glad they did. So I met Joe, and we got to be pretty good friends after that.
Yeah, for sure. Would you is the catch the most famous moment of your career, 1954?
No.
No. Not the most famous.
It was
moment.
in the World Series.
Yes.
And it was I don't even know if it was, I put it in my top 10, but it was in the World Series where, they had to write about something. And as you remember, we won in 4 games. We played 4 games, and Cleveland had a really tremendous team.
Great team. All-time great team.
Oh my God, yes. Bobby Avila and I, we won the band championship that year.
Yeah.
And they just had a good team. They had Larry, Had Al Smith on there. They had
Yeah, I mean, Vic
Strickland.
Lawrence was good, and
Vic was
yeah,
first base.
yeah,
But
a lot of
when
good
Vic hit the ball, usually you have a cutoff man come out there. I never had a cutoff man to come out and get the ball, when the ball go to center field.
Because you didn't need one?
I never had one. If you ever see me play, you look out there and where's the cutoff man? They're all in the infield. Nobody ever came out. For what? What are they going to come out for? Because I get the ball back into the infield very quickly all the time. So anyway, when I saw the ball coming out, I looked at it and I right away, my eyes went right over the infield for me to understand where each guy was. So when I caught the ball, it wasn't where you throw this ball. It wasn't, no. I already had the ball because the polo ground was like 480, maybe 500.
Yeah,
This was about,
yeah.
this was about maybe 415 I found that. But that was a danger sign. It was like I was trying to tell some of the guys here, when you hit that dirt, there's danger coming up. You got to be aware of it, because I never got hurt. And I never did hit the wall. You never see me hit no wall.
Never.
I don't hit no wall. But anyway, when I catch the ball, I caught it and I whirled and threw it back in. Now you have to picture this. Only one guy advanced. Larry was on second. Al Rosen was on first. And he didn't go to second, but he had a bad leg that year. He hit 37 home runs that year. Al Rosen did. And Larry only went to third from second. He didn't score. So I think that was the key to the whole series when I, caught the ball, but it wasn't the best. I caught a lot of balls
You
in the
told me
polo
one
ground.
time, I remember you told me one time about a catch where maybe you skidded on the warning track and Jackie had to come out and check and see if you caught the ball.
Oh, that was 1951. That was Bobby Morgan. Actually, it was in over in Eversfield.
Yeah.
Eversfield. Bases loaded. You have to picture this.
Okay.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Bobby Morgan hitting. He hits a line drive over shortstop. As I'm running, it's no way that I can catch without hitting the wall. And they didn't have no padding at that time. So when I catch the ball, I hit the padding, and when I was coming to, I saw 2 guys. I saw Leo and I saw Jackie. And I said to Jackie, "Why are you here, man?" He said, "I want to see if you caught the ball." And I said, "Leo, did you hear what he just said? How come you didn't beat him out here then?" So they started laughing, and then they knew I was okay by then. That was one of my best catches.
He wasn't coming to check on you. He
wanted to see if I caught the ball. Yeah, that was the key, I think. Yeah.
And then Leon Wagner told a story about how maybe one time you sort of climbed on top of him to make a catch or something like that.
Nobody's going to believe this.
Okay,
Nobody's
all
going to
right,
believe
tell me
this
that.
one. That was in Chicago.
Yeah.
And Leon Wagner was, he could hit, but he never knew when he was going to catch the ball. So at this day, there was a high-flying ball going up. And when I go over it, I thought Leo was going to try and catch it, but he was just standing there like this. So I put my foot right in his belt buckle, and I went up. I catch the ball and come down. And I said, "Oh, my God, I cut him. I got to cut him." So when I go over, I said, "Leo, pull your shirt up, man. Let me see where I cut you at." No marks. I don't know how I did it, but I hit his belt buckle. I went up, caught the ball, came back down, and nobody's going to believe it until you see it. Nobody's going to believe that catch.
It wasn't just the catches with you, it was also your throwing. Didn't you tell me a story one time about throwing a guy out at every base in one game?
Well, they told me you can't do round robin. Round robin is man that throw out at first, second, third, and home. I said, I could do that. What are you talking about? So now we're in Dodger Stadium. Drysdale hits a ball over the middle for a base hit. And those days, you had the cap, when you wear the cap like this, they put it in your back pocket. McCovey knew me very well. I said, "Mac, whenever the ball comes to center field, you go around and you just stand there. You just stand there." if I think I got a chance of getting this guy out, the ball will be there. So when Drysdale hit this hit, I saw him just put his head down and start walking. I said, I got him. So I threw the ball to first. I got him at, on first, and he cussed me too. So now Mario Wills, the next inning, Mario was on, and he went to third. Fly ball comes out. The next batter hits the fly ball. I threw Mario out at home.
Okay.
Willie Davis gets on the next inning. He tries to go from first to third. I threw him out at third base.
Okay.
Jim Lefevre hits a ball in the gap, and I had him by 5 feet. Tito had him, but he didn't squeeze the ball. So Lefevre hits his arm, and the ball pops out. And now Tito was on the base crying, because he knew what I was trying to do, and I had to call time. So I go in, and I said, man, hey, this is not the end of the world. He says, yes, it is, because I know the round robin is right there in your grasp. This is Tito talking now. And I said, oh, no, don't worry about it. I'll get it next time. I never came close to it, but I'd have had it.
You had it.
Yeah.
4 home run game in Milwaukee.
4 home runs.
Now, did Hank rob another one? Did you hit one that could have been number 5 in that game?
Yeah, he caught that one. The night before, I ate some ribs.
Okay.
And I go to the ballpark the next day. I don't feel too good. So I'm sitting on the bench, and Joe at Montana comes to me, and he's got my second, my bat, and he's been hitting balls out of the ballpark with my bat. So he says, "What? Are you not playing today?" I said, "No, man, I can't. I don't feel good." He said, "Take this bat, and come on, let's go to the cage." So we go out of the cage, and I hit 5 balls so quick out of the ballpark. So I go over and get a pencil and scratch my name out. Somebody else's name hidden third. I put my name there. And Alvin came out and he said, "You playing?" "Yeah, I'm playing today, man." So now the first 2 times was Lou Burdette.
Good pitcher, really
good pitcher. So I hit 2 off of him. I hit 1 off of Sid Moorhead.
Okay.
And I hit the other one off of Don McMahon. And the middle part of that, I hit a ball, and Hank was playing center field. I don't know why he was there. I guess they're trying to figure out where he was going to play.
Yeah.
So I hit a ball, and he caught it up against the fence. It would have been out. But so that's the only reason I didn't hit 5. I hit 4. Pretty good.
You would have been the only guy with 5.
Yep.
You were on deck when the game ended. Were the fans really? Did the fans
Davenport.
see
Davenport.
You again? Yeah.
Davenport was the guy that they booed a little bit. I said, "Damn it, no, don't worry about it. We get off the field quick, man."
Now, will you tell me the story of? I know Giants fans have talked about this for 50 years since it happened, but Game 7, 1962, 9th inning, you come to the plate. It was Matty Alou was at first base, is that right? In Game 7 of the '62 World Series against the Yankees.
Actually, it was 2 outs.
2 outs.
It was 2 outs.
Down to your final out.
Matty, I think Matty bunted to get on, and he was on first base. And I had hit 3 balls. Tom Tresh caught a ball going to left center that day off of me, and that should have been a double or triple without any problem. But anyway, Roger was playing right field. The ball that I hit, it hit the mud, and it stopped right there. It didn't hit the fence like it's supposed to hit, It was supposed to hit the fence and rattle around out there. Matty could have scored easy.
Because there'd been so much rain, right?
It rained for 7 days. And I was kind of hoping that it could be me running. Somebody had to go, somebody had to go down. It might have been me, but Elston Howard was the catcher. And Bobby Richardson threw the ball, but it wasn't a good throw. It was a bad throw. But I think Matty was a little nervous, he might have made the last out. I said, "Matty, you can't do that. You should have went on anyway. So you make the last out, so what? What's the deal? What's the big deal?" But I couldn't say that, because they was kind of a little, all those guys kind of worried a little bit all the time. Yeah, that was in '62.
And then Mac hit the line drive.
Yeah, hit the now. I don't know about that. I thought they changed that rule that the infielder can't go into the outfield, but they do now.
They do, for sure.
They go everywhere now. You know?
So he was standing in the outfield. The second
Well,
base.
he was standing. He was like the short outfield.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the reason how he caught the ball.
Wow.
We should have won that pretty easy. We had a good team, man.
You had a lot of great players.
Oh
on that
my
team.
God,
Yeah.
good players that year.
Mac and Cepeda and Felipe was on that team, right?
And 62, yeah,
Yeah.
he played right field.
Felipe was on that team.
We had
And Juan was-
Gaylord.
Yeah.
We had Billy Odell.
Yeah.
We had
Marichal.
Marshall. Then we had Billy Pierce.
Yeah, Billy Pierce.
Billy Pierce won 15 or 16 games. He didn't lose nothing.
Yeah.
And Stu Miller.
Stu Miller.
Stu Miller was the reliever
Yeah, your
at that
relief
time.
ace. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a good team there.
It was almost like an all-star team.
Oh my God, very well.
Yeah.
You know, very good.
You played in 24 all-star games.
24, yeah.
Is it true that Walter Alston one year allowed you to make out the lineup for the all-star game?
yeah.
That's true?
My first year there, in 1954,
Yeah.
and Walt couldn't take, you know, he was a really nice man. He didn't like to rock the boat by any means. So I was on the bench. I was kind of tired because I had played every game in '54. This is '54, I think it was, because I didn't start the game. So when I was sitting there with my arm forward, he called my name to pinch hit for the pitcher,
Yeah.
and he says, "Willie." So I went over and I hit a home run. So now the next year, the Dodgers won again. So when we go to Kansas, we was in Kansas City, and Walt come to me and said, "Well, I can't make out the lineup." I said, "What do you mean you can't make out the lineup?" He says, "There's too many good players over here." He said, "They're gonna get mad." I said, "Who the hell care, man? Let them get mad." So I said, "Give me the card." She said, "What are you gonna do?" I says, "I'll lead off. I'll commit to hit second. Aaron gonna hit third because he's gonna be out of that because he don't like to play in this kind of game." So we got Aaron out. I said, "Mac is gonna hit, fourth. But after that, who cares? Because we're gonna have one or two runs some kind of way by the time we get to third or fourth." So he said, "Make out the lineup and I'll, you carry it up to home plate." I said, "Okay, we did that." So now when I hit the home run, this is in Washington, with the home run, he came to me on the way out. He said, "You can't play center field." I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Well, I have my guy out there." And he says, "Duke is the center fielder."
Yeah.
He said, "The reason I can't take him out is that he won't play for me." He said, "And I need him." And I said, "Okay, I'll go right by him and I'll tell him, 'Hey man, you the guy that's playing the longest, you have to play center field.'" So that's how we, kept him in there. This is Washington, D.C. at Griffith Stadium, I think it was, at the old ballpark.
Yeah, that's it.
The
So you
old
did
ball-
Walter Alston a big favor there. You
Oh,
kept his
yeah.
star
But
guy
Walt
happy.
was a good guy,
Yeah.
man. Walt Austin, really nice man.
All right, I got to ask you a final couple questions. Base running, you were a great base runner. Did you ever need a base running coach? Did you ever use a coach to help you run the bases?
I never had nothing on when I played, but hitting, I never had that. I scored. It's three things that I think I did when I was running. Art Mahaffey, I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
Art Mahaffey,
Uh-huh.
instead of throwing the ball over the top on the pickoff on first base, he threw it underhanded and picked me off the day before. Then about 3 or 4 days later, he was pitching in San Francisco.
Okay.
So when he pitched, I blocked the guy, and the ball went down the line. So now I'm running first, and I'm running second, and I said, I got to score. One of my best friends was the catcher, Pat Corrales. I don't know if you
I know
remember
Pat, yeah.
Pat Corrales. Pat had me out for about 5 or 10 steps. So now when he catches the ball, he's going to run up and tag me. So I said, So I left the ground, and I hit him on the chin, knocked him out, touched home plate. I went halfway back to the screen. Then I saw the little, called the general, the man's, the guy from, no, you don't know this guy yet. the guy from Philadelphia, Gene Mark.
Gene Mott.
Gene Mark was the manager at that time. I don't think you know him.
Well, then he went to the Angels and.
Yeah, he went all over. But anyway, he came out, get the ball, and touch home plate. But one of my friends, Herbie, was one of the writers, not the writer, but the picture taker. I said to him long time ago, whenever I'm on base, you keep the camera on me. He said, why? I never know what I'm gonna do. But lucky he got this shot when I hit him in the jaw, when I touched home plate, because he knew that I did all the right things, and Gene could never say nothing about it.
How did you break in a glove?
I used one glove for about 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
I had a glove called the Kangaroo, the hide. All McGregor did, they would send me like 15 gloves, but I only had one because everybody would steal them. Everybody would take a glove. Well, we'll bring it back. I never see it no more. I don't think I have a glove at home.
Wow.
I don't have one. Everybody wanted to do it, yeah. And I could take it out of the box and go out and play with it. I put in some water, wrap it up for one day, and next day I could take it out and play with it. Called Kangaroo, that hide.
Wow.
They made them stop doing that in Kangaroo.
Yeah.
They made them stop.
What about, did you use a big bat?
Yes, 34, 35. 34 ounce,
35.
35 length.
And you wanted why'd you want the big bat? You were strong, so that was.
I don't know what it is. I couldn't use the little light bats. I had 33s and things like that, but they didn't seem like the ball jumped off of there enough for me.
Yeah.
So when I would have it, I use what was that, Louisville.
Yeah.
Pee Wee always got the bats for me. Pee Wee Reese.
Louisville, right?
Yeah,
I
he
think
was
that
with
fairly
Louisville
strong.
for a while. He always got good wood for me and put them up. And oak, is that oak?
Oak.
That kind of
Yeah.
wood.
Uh-huh.
It wouldn't break. Maybe I break maybe once a year.
You
Make
break
one bat.
One bat a year.
Maybe, but not too much.
Some guys break 3 a game now.
I heard about that. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
We have a great picture of you with Mantle and Duke, who you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And was it true that Mickey Mantle said, because people would always ask about the three of you, the New York center fielders.
Yeah, Willie
and
Duke. Yeah.
And did Mickey always say, well, there's the two of us, and then there's Willie. He's a little different than the rest of us?
Yeah, well, Mickey was a good joker. He was a guy, that liked to play jokes on everybody.
Yeah.
So he only could get us together during the All-Star game. He would call me on the phone and says, meet me there early, get me there early. I said, for what, man? He says, man, just meet me there early. So now I go early, and he and I and Duke, and we would get on the other side. And he says, here come that guy. We don't know who he is, but they say he's Duke. And Duke is supposed to be with us. And Duke is head all the time. Mickey says, oh, you the guy that's supposed to be playing center field? Well, what about this guy over here? He's talking about me. And I said, oh, aren't you the center fielder? He said, yeah, oh, yeah. What about this guy here? Oh, we just let him come in when we get tired, one of those type of things. But we had a good time during the All-Star game.
Yeah, I bet.
Really good time.